Chef Tim has been in the industry for 45 years or so now. I actually grew up right outside of New York City and spent all my summers down seaside, down the Jersey Shore, back before it was what is the Jersey Shore now. But that's where my cooking started. So that's where I come from, a very large family of 10, Irish Catholic family, right outside of New York City, 8 miles outside of New York City, and all our summers at the Jersey Shore, and that's why I started cooking. But we have a great big jolly family that's, my sister Mary and I were kind of the ones that were out across the country. But most of my family were here, migrated from the Northeast and came down here to Florida. So we were the holdouts. And then finally, with 3 children, after living in Texas for 16 years, I realized, you know what, let's get closer to home, my family, my parents, and all my family here. We used to see them once or twice a year. Now we see them once or twice a month. And all the holidays is just one big, great big 45, 48 people all together, all related. And it's one big cooking fest, singing fest. We're all about music. That's my daughter, in fact, went at Dr. Phillips High School. Both of them were in the music program. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I am. Just, you know, passion is my heart. And I think that's the number one ingredient when you get into cooking and whatnot. So it is about having passion for it all. And that started at a very young age. But I was very gifted. I don't have a degree to hang on my wall. I come from the University of Hard Knocks. I had the option to go to the Culinary Institute of America. Back then it was $12,000. Now it's about $100,000. But I didn't have $12,000 either. So I just went and I played basketball in college. And in turn moved to California. When I moved to California, I went back to what I knew, which was cooking. Because it's in my blood. It's kind of an innate thing. So several restaurants, a couple of hotels, and then it got very, very serious when I started cooking at the Hotel Meridian in Newport Beach in 1984. And at that time, I was just so gifted to be able to work with some of the best chefs in the world. And that's when cooking got very, very serious for me. In a very, very intense French environment. Here I am at my 6'8"ness, and a small little Frenchman. You know, it's just, but we learned. It was tough and it was rough, but we learned and grew every day. In my 4 years there, I became executive sous-chef, which is one of the first Americans to do so at the time, because it was a very French environment. But I really, really learned so much then. I was so lucky to work with some great chefs at that time. So, you know, it's been a long path since then in several different spots between 5-star, 5-diamond hotels, and then 9 years at Disney. I had an incredible experience at the Flying Fish Cafe at the Boardwalk Resort, of which at the time, you know, we were able to build a clientele that followed it. I was a fan of the Flying Fish forever. And I was a guest chef with Scott Hunnell at Victoria and Albert's during the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. He said, do you want to talk to us about this place called the Flying Fish? I said, well, it's my favorite restaurant. I love it. So I ended up staying for 9 years, and that was kind of an anomaly because usually chefs move around. After 9 years, the Flying Fish closed down for renovation. And I just saw an opportunity to say, you know what, I want to get back out into the local community because I'm very much of a local guy, whether it's local products, farms, ranches, fishermen. Plus, I started to spend a lot more time with the local chefs in the area. And that's when I was introduced to this family, which is Boulevard Restaurants here at Marine 40 and Paradiso 37. Well, I think the artistry is always there. And I love the fact that cooking is an art. And it was considered as an art. In 2002, as the Olympics travel around the world, they celebrate the arts in each one of the cities where the Olympics are. And for the first time ever in the history of the Olympics, the James Beard Foundation was honored there as an art. So I was one of the chefs from the James Beard that went up to cook there. So registered as an art, yes, it is an art, but you have to understand that, I think I understand and I live by it, the fact that you manage a product and you lead people. So yeah, I'm up there driving the boat, but and I am the leader of the people because they need an example. There's a great poster, and it's maybe a pharaoh up on a pyramid, you know, whipping the people to pull the stone, and then there's another one next to it that's the leader out there with them pulling it. That's me, because I love cooking. It's one of my passions. And I'm in the trenches with them every day. When you don't have a degree to hang on the wall, I really feel and I believe that everything that I have has been given to me by someone else. You know, it's all been done before. It's artistry is one thing, unless you come up with some wild blueberry chocolate hollandaise. It's all been done before sometime or another. So it's me taking everything that I've learned through my time in great kitchens with great chefs, but also traveling all throughout the United States, all throughout Europe, cooking in Asia, cooking in Africa. I took a trip and I was cooking down there for a while. So all these travels and that come together, and I share those experiences with the people that I'm working with in every kitchen that I've ever been. My goal is to get them to become better people, and then more importantly, better cooks, to create a better guest experience. When I looked back and I sat in the audience at the James Beard Awards, and they call your name out, the first thing that comes to my mind is not me. I might be up there driving the boat, but I have a team of people in the kitchen that enabled me to be able to cook at festivals all across the world and this country. But they worked hard. It's to get to the point when you say a leader or a manager, well, you're leading them to do it. The best days you could have is somebody says, I had the best meal of my life, but you know what? I wasn't there last night. I was off yesterday with my family. Those are the best days, because then you know your team is at the best. So, sitting at the board, hearing your name at the James Beard Awards, and I was so lucky and gifted that those 4 years were so amazing for me. But there's other things around that I've done that are just amazing. We did a special award in Houston, a dinner that we did for about 500 people. And I had 6 different chefs from all over the country, great friends, great names and great chefs and whatnot, and with Paul Bocuse. And at the end of the meal, Paul Bocuse got up in front of the crowd and he took his jacket off and he gave it to me. And I now he signed it for me afterwards, and I have it hanging on the wall. So those are accomplishments. Those are all, those are the rewards. You could get a raise, you can get an award, but the real success is what you do every day. And creating and nurturing people's appetites as they come in and giving them great service. And that's just something that stuck with me all my life. When I first met the owner here at Boulevard and at Urbane 40, it's something that really intrigued me when I first came. I hadn't been here before, and I came in and I had the feeling, I have this strange feeling that although I was born in the late 50s, I was living in the 40s. I was one of those people that came back to life, quickly. So I don't know why that is. It's just my feeling is there are certain things that I know that so the feeling of this restaurant, if you think about New York or LA or any other places in the 40s, there's a feeling that goes to it because our lounge has a different feel to it. It's that rack pack, and the music is amazing. That's another piece. The music is extraordinary here. They have a band going almost every night, and it's a really, really good feeling on that side. The dining room has that feel that you have that retro 40s feeling to, and it is American brasserie. So it does have that brasserie word in that it's got French background. All my cooking is, a lot of it is the base of French cooking, but you take it and you spin off. I think most of the American chefs are that way. You learn from the bases of Escoffier and Nouvelle Cuisine, and you spin it off into something else, especially when it comes to local. Whether I had been in Texas or California or here now in Florida, I'm always looking to get things out of the water, off the ranch, out of the farm, onto the plate as quickly as possible, and that's really the goal. I can buy things from all over the world, but I'd rather really support the local people here, which is really, really great. So, but if you come here, yes, it's a brasserie, but it's got Americana. What is American? American cuisine is one big melting pot full of different ethnicities from all over the world. So we have amazing steaks, we have local seafood, we have pastas. We even just put in a noodle dish that we're running for specials with Asian flavors. Do I want to cook Moroccan today? Do I want to do, what do I feel like cooking? Because that's what America is. But yes, it does have, escargot and French onion soup and those kind of basics and standards, and they're extraordinary. So it's a really, really good feeling. Because, those clubs in the 40s, they were all about really great food on one side and a nightclub on the other side, and that's what this is here.